Ever laid your eyes on a car and thought, did somebody actually choose that on purpose?
Well, over the next 7 minutes, I'm unveiling 25 cars that will make you question the very sanity of their designer. From the eyesores in everyday traffic to the cringeworthy designs in electrics, luxury, and international vehicles, topped off with my personal hot takes, which to me are a crime against humanity.
To start us off in the everyday traffic at number 5 is the Honda Ridgeline.
This is not a truck. This is where I draw the line. This is a disgrace to the truck community.
Next, we have the PT Cruiser.
A staple in ugly cars. Everyone knows this car is universally hated, and we just look at it and say, why?
Following the PT, we have the dreaded Kia Soul.
Between its design and horrid commercials, why did you buy this? But you're probably thinking, how is this only third? I know the Kia Soul is ugly, but you can't forget about its ugly cousin, the Nissan Cube. The Cube is just another toaster box on wheels, but they have this curved back window to eliminate blind spots. But whenever I see this window, I just wish it was in my blind spot.
And the worst car in everyday traffic by far is the Nissan Juke.
I want to buy a car that's absolutely stupid.
Everything about this car makes me want to puke. The frog-like headlights, the saucer pan-sized fog lights, boomerang taillights, its lack of space, and its rear door handles. Whoever designed this car can stay far away from me at all times.
They say electric is the way of the future. However, if this is what it looks like, I think I'm good. Take a look at the Mazda MX-30.
There's just something about those beady little headlights. It's like it's staring into other cars' engine bays. Also, the back seat shouldn't exist. It's way too small.
Not convinced? What about the Fiat 500e?
This car looks like it's kind of tired of everyone's bullshit, which, relatable. However, the Fiat 500 was already a poor looking car, and they just had to do this too.
Now, going in a different direction I'm sure most will agree with, the Cybertruck
just tried too hard to be different. And it succeeded, but in the worst way possible. No texture pack installed, minimal render distance. That's what this is. The BMW i3 is just worse. BMW is so attached to their grills, they gave this hideous electric smart car thing 2 nostrils. Like, what's the point? It doesn't even look better.
However, the worst electric car on the roads today, though not fully electric, is the new Nissan Juke Hybrid.
The new looks aren't inherently bad, and it's a step in the right direction, but I am an avid Nissan Juke hater, so it makes the list.
Luxury and speed, 2 very defining characteristics of a good car, but comfort and cost can't fix a car that looks so bad it makes you want to drive into the ditch. For example, the Land Rover Defender.
The Land Rover is a well-known brand for off-road luxury, but this just doesn't do it for me. It just looks off. The taillights, the headlights, there's better and cheaper options than this.
Ferrari has another example of how money just doesn't mean good looks. The Ferrari Sergio
just doesn't make me think of Ferrari, you know? It makes me think of a D-list superhero car that was built to match their skin-tight bodysuit.
For the Mitsuoka Arachi,
I'm just gonna let you try to explain what it looks like in 3 words or less in the comments, because wow. Just wow.
Back to the superhero thing. The Mercedes Maybach Accelero
is just a wannabe supervillain car. Like, it's sleek, but the longer you look at it, the more you go, huh?
So, a top car that couldn't possibly be the Nissan Juke. Speed just isn't something that car knows. Wait, what?
That's right, it's the Nissan Juke R, which, although impressive, is still buttfuck ugly, if not uglier than the street version. Something about this beefier look just makes it worse.
Now, there are many different car manufacturers outside of North America, and it would be rude of me not to include some of the laughable attempts at vehicular beauty from around the globe. Look at the Mitsubishi Colt Cabriolet.
It looks like a slipper. Whose great idea was it to cross the soccer mom minivan with dad's midlife crisis convertible? Because that's what this is.
Renault may not be a name we're used to in North America, but given they made the Aventime here,
perhaps that's a good thing. The back end looks like it's trying to show off its ass to get a vehicular mate. Put your bump away, Renault. Nobody wants to see that.
Now, do you recall the PT Cruiser by chance? Here's its Italian cousin, the Lancia Ypsilon.
AKA the Chrysler Ypsilon. Now, Italy, do you look at this car and say, why? Like we do the PT? Or do you think this is something to marvel at, like your supercars?
Now, we've all seen the Fiat Multipla. Luckily,
I've never had to see it in person. It looks like 2 cars stacked on top of each other, clipping through one another. Whoever designed this should have lost their job decades ago.
But it wouldn't be a complete list without the Infiniti ESQ.
That's right, it's a rebranded Nissan Juke. At least they had the brains to remove the name Juke. But why would you even bother trying to sell this? It's still the worst looking thing on the left and right side of the road.
Finally, what I'm sure you've been waiting for, my personal hot takes. I know some people are going to come at me for these cars, but just trust me when I say this. The Ford Bronco
Is not as good looking as you think it is. It's not the worst, but I still won't be driving one anytime soon.
Following that, any newer Mini Cooper, especially the XL Countryman,
The name is Mini, how do you make it larger? Like the Bronco, the old one was great, but what's with this new shit?
but Ford isn't out of the firing range just yet. The 1966 Shelby Cobra is next.
As the first and only classic car on this list, it just isn't appealing to me in any way. It looks deformed, but in a uniform way that's disguised as design elements.
Once again, speed doesn't save you from this category either, because I can't stand the Nissan 350Z.
It's overdone, overhyped, overmodified, and overstaying its welcome on our roads.
And to finish off my hot takes, coming in as no surprise, is the Nissan Juke Rally Edition.
Which, out of the Jukes, is probably the best one. However, that's not a hard bar to surpass given how goddamn ugly every other version of this car is. My pizza is done, so I'm gonna head out. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you all next week. I couldn't have timed that better!
You really hate the Duke.
No, I hate it.
He does hate
No,
he
I
genuinely
hate.
hates.
I object to it existing. It shouldn't exist.